Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we're on Project Cars 2 for PlayStation with Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge Round 3. And tonight we're heading over to the UK for Brands Hatch. So there's going to be some pretty exciting racing going on around Brands Hatch tonight. Session, we'll be heading over for 15 minutes of practice, whether it is overcast, and there's 15 minutes of qualifying, whether it is also overcast. The sprint race is 12 laps, whether it is overcast with no mandatory pit. We'll have a 9-minute break and head into Session 2, where we've got 15 minutes of qualifying, whether it is medium cloud, and then the main race is 25 laps. It'll progress from light cloud through to clear with a mandatory pit requirement. And then after round 2 last week, we have Corby 387 leading the championship on 408 points, with Sami following behind on 366, and it's pretty close between Wera, DK and Marky Mark. Last week's results we had in the sprint race. Corby 387 take pole and victory, with Wera taking the fastest lap bonus points. And then in the main race, Corby taking another win after qualifying second and having Demon Effects take the bonus points for the fastest lap of the race. So in the UK, game session time is 9 AM. Track length is 3.9 kilometers with 9 turns. It's a very good, fast, technical track. It's going to be well suited to the Ferrari 488 Challenge cars. And it is default setups, so there's not going to be any advantage to car setups. They can only choose between stable or default. So it's most likely that the car's going to be quite a little bit loose still, as we've seen. However, the previous rounds have been a little bit more technical, especially last week at Azure. He rolls out and pulls the car up. Philly's first one to roll out onto the track. Track temperatures are going to be quite low at the moment. We'll notice that we've just updated Pagnian Advanced Simulations logos. Both Pagnian Imports and Next Level Racing are sponsors of Apex Esports League. Well, there's a little bit of chaos going on. Cool boy, I think that may have been Demon's car. No, it may have been Gallon's car, as well as Dirty Monkey by the looks of things. We are missing a couple. We're missing DK Rush. He's joined us for our No Rules race on Friday night. DK was experiencing some tech issues with a broken accelerator, and that was happening during the course of the special event. He is unable to get that issue resolved. He did get some pedals posted down to him by another member, which is fantastic, but hasn't reached him there just yet. But we were all crossing our fingers, hoping the delivery would arrive for him in time for tonight's race. And then if you don't have the chat, he's in there. He says he's there in spirit with us. So we are missing you out on track, DK. And he's here cheering on the Vazmat crew. Vazmak boys would have been pretty upset that the Ferrari 488 Challenge cars didn't have a Vazmak livery. And we'll make our way down through the list. We got a few of our regulars. The head farmer, actually too, may have actually been off in the spin. With Cool Boy and Gallon. DJ, yes, he's poorly unable to make it to tonight's round. So it's only seeing 14 cars on the track. We'll make our way down through. Jablaki, he's been having a pretty good result. Is currently coming 6th in the championship. He's got 248 points. Ahead of him is Marky Mark with 303. DK's on 311 and Wirra's on 312, so he's not too far behind those guys. A couple of strong finishes, especially in the main race. Could start to see him head up towards the top end of the ladder for the standings board. First time's coming through, we're seeing a couple of 130s landing. Pretzel being the current quickest time. Let's just put that car off. We'll jump on board for a lap with someone in a moment. On board with Wirra. Oh, we've just jinxed him. It's a little bit slippery. Oh, he gets that car under control. Turn 1 is a very daunting corner for most. It is very well known for Brands Hatch. If you can nail that corner, you can usually have a strong advantage over most. It's now through turn 2. It was a good line. Turn 3, very quick. You can use a lot of that exit curb. You're going to stay reasonably wide heading into turn 4. Must be a very late turn, otherwise you're going to end up cutting out and running out wide onto that exit curb. Actually, we're on board with Corby. I thought I was picking Wirra, but that's... He's just bumped up a position. And the back section of the track, very quick. However, these corners are very slippery. Oh, we've just definitely jinxed Corby whoever we jump on board with. We always end up messing up their lap. Finish the lap with Wirra. So that's where we're pretty much closing up to. So the last 2 corners. Very late turn in, so you can put down that power to exit out, ready to go down onto the pit straight. The Ferraris do run the Pirelli softs. Wirra just takes the fastest lap on that lap. That was a 1:28.9. Very nice line through turn 1. And it's not usually the style for Wirra. We usually see him sit back in the practice session. And then he comes in and throws a pretty fantastic qualifying lap at us. However, he's coming in and dominating by a couple of seconds nearly, getting into the 1:28s. I think that's DG's car that's just gone off track. Dirty Monkey's second quickest out there. The 1:30, 1:28. Pretzelnator also in the 30s. Demon Effects and Balaki both setting 1:30s. Balaki just bringing that car back in the pits after going off track. Probably setting a 1:32.357. And Head Farmer heading into the 1:33s. A little bit slippery. The season for the series has been set to spring. With the early morning time and the overcast conditions, it's going to take a while to get some temp up into the track. So these tyres are going to be rather slippery at this point. Mikey Mike getting it loose right in the pits. Oh, just trying to Mick Cliff. He's just been bumped down a time. Cool Boy's just landed in the 140s. Mick Cliff also in the 140s. And then we've got Rooney that's keen to jump on board, so I'll just go silent for a moment as I get one of the guys to shoot off an invite to Rooney. Apparently I can't cross over into the game chat whilst it's on broadcast mode, unfortunately, so I have to send a message personally through to the guys. Demon Effects coming in at some pretty quick times at 1:27 at the moment. I'm just trying to send through a message to one of our guys. If you're watching, I've just sent through a message to Gal asking him to send you through an invite. So hopefully you should be able to do that, because I can't actually get to the lobby once I'm in the director's mode to be able to send an invite. Demon Effects pushing out some very quick times, 1:27.701. It's still a little bit slippery. You can see that tail slide out down through turn 1. There's now 10 minutes progress in the practice session. We have the simulator set to ×2 for the time. 10 minutes will equal 20 minutes of real world time. The simulator time will be progressing towards that 10 AM. Qualifying, the session will start at the 10 AM bracket with still the same weather conditions, so it still will be relatively cool. Drivers are going to have to be playing pretty cautiously out there. Philly putting in some pretty good strong pace. He was really fighting the tail of that car as he was coming through those last couple of corners. Gets out very wide. He's got some traffic coming out of pit lane. That's Balaki. He's just gone right off to let him through. Philly look like to be carrying a lot of speed coming down onto pit straight. Ooh, a little bit slippery and lost control there. Turns around just in front of Dirty Monkey. I think that's his car. I can even find him on the list. It's car 68. Whereas 1:28 bumped down pretty quickly. We've seen a fair few other drivers join in. There's Rooney, he's managed to make it in. There's Rooney's car. It's car number 88. So thanks very much to Gallon for shooting through that invite. Demon Effects still holding the quickest time. There's 3 minutes left of practice. Philly's brought that car back into the pits. Kretzel, not much difference between his time and Demon Effects. It's only 0.105 difference between the two. And Philly even getting into that very low 1:28 mark, only 0.395 away from Demon's time. We're having some pretty good pace at the moment. Probably just jinxed him. Yes, definitely pulls up into the 1:27.730. That's only 0.029 away from Demon's time. That is super tight. There's not a whole lot in it between the two. Marky Mark finding the car a little bit slippery still. DJ overshoots it. We've only got 4.9 seconds separating 14 cars currently. That is very close indeed. I bet you all the drivers are quite pleased to see excess space to run off track after last week's round. There was no room for error. There was a lot of war. Rennie's brought that straight back in. He's probably finding it a little bit slippery and most likely not practiced. Oh, Gallen very wide. Can he save it for turn one? No, he turns it around. Keeps spinning it through. That'll be it for any more validated times for the practice session. Corby ends up landing in a 1:26.510. That's now 1.1 seconds away from Demon's time. That is getting very quick. We saw a double win from him last week. So can we see him do another repeat from last week at Azure Circuit? Can we see a double win for Corby? It's going to be very strong heading off into round 4 if he can land a double win tonight. Leading ahead of Sami by 40 points currently. Sami not in the session as well. It's definitely going to have an advantage should Corby be able to pull ahead. Just needing Reed to get time in. Missing out just on that last one. I saw and see if Sami's actually on the line. Sami not online, so he's probably had to be called out. Marky Mark also gets up very close. He's bumped Demon down. Only 0.038 quicker than Demon's time. Oh, Philly scrapes in between Marky Mark and Corby on that last lap. Now only 0.33 difference. That's 2 lots of 1:26.5 that we're seeing. This is going to be pretty intense seeing them go into the qualifying session. Messing up, I'm not sure what corner he's on there. Might be on a different section of track from the configuration. He's enjoying himself doing a few burnouts. Larky still has 20 seconds to wrap up a lap. I think he's towards the back end. There's Simo taking out some markers on the side. Larky pulls it up. He's going to do a few donuts for the last remaining 10 seconds. Looks like he may have had a disconnect as well. Not sure what's going on. Looks like Wira has disconnected, unfortunately. They can get back in with no issues heading into the qualifying. And then we have Corby 387 in the practice, setting the quickest time of 1:26.510, and very tight between himself and Philly with a 1:26.543. So it's going to be a very close qualifying session indeed, with only 4 seconds separating our drivers. Fingers crossed that we see Wira make it back in. Oh, Marky Mark's just copped himself grid place penalty. He's taken 1 grid place. Forgot to set that pit speed limit button and did exceed the speed limit in the pits. We're going to have to ensure he qualifies strongly if he puts up some good times like we saw him doing in the practice session. It shouldn't be too bad. He should be starting from that top end. It's very important for their qualifying position as those championship points up for grabs. Oh, here's a little bit of a lag. I think that may have threw Marky Mark off a little bit. Lag spike happened as he was going around the corner. It's usually noticeable when you're in the car as well. You will see a few frame rates actually drop out. So we're back in with ample time to qualify. Hopefully no disconnects if it happens within the last few minutes of the session. That's when they do miss out on being able to make it to the grids. Don't forget, if you're joining us for the stream and your first time coming to view Apex Esports League and haven't hit that follow button, be sure to do so. You'll be notified when we go live. We appreciate our growing support. I think we're almost at 160 followers now, so it's fantastic to see. We are live with Project Cars 2 every Thursday night, 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And also on Monday nights, same time with iRacing. We are currently doing the NASCARs. It should be slightly warmer on that track at the moment. Still going to take possibly 2 to 3 laps before some tent really gets into those tyres. We did notice a lot of the drivers finding it very slippery on the first lap. However, they've probably come a little bit more accustomed to the track now. There's a few marbles scattered out on that corner down turn 3 where we saw Mark spin out as we were enjoying the session. And don't forget, if you join us for the stream, jump in the chat, let us know who you're here to cheer on. Say hello. There is a bunch of sound effects controls down underneath the stream that you can play over the stream, so have some fun with that. And then our social media links are down below. Our Facebook page where you can keep up to date with all our results and standings from our events. And you can read any incident reports after they've been reviewed. And we also have our YouTube link, which is the bit.ly/ApexESL, which is case sensitive. All our past broadcasts are saved over to there. And we have first times coming on the board, some pretty quick times straight up, 1:26.389 by Philly. That's an incredible opening lap. Nick Cliff also landing a 1:29.7. That's still an impressive opening time. So Mark's time still must have counted after he had the spin out, so it's only just slowed down his lap from the recovery, but mustn't have invalidated it when he went for the spin. Gallen qualifying in 4th currently for 1:36. No mucking around from Wirra. Straight into it with a 1:26.803. Philly qualifying pole with a 1:25.841. That's going to be a pretty hard time to beat. And you see Corby putting in some pretty solid laps in the practice session. Can he manage to get up into the 1:25s again? Rooney also getting in with a very quick time of 1:29.236. Demon Effects up in the 1:28s. Seeing some very tidy times coming through. Mark qualifying in 3rd, so he's put himself in pretty well with a 1:27.5. That's going to be a decent spot to be in to compensate for that one grid place penalty for speeding in the pits. Demon Effects with 128.3. Behind him is Gallon with 128.8. Betty Monkey runs slightly wide. I think that's Mick Cliff in behind him. That is Mick Cliff. DG having some issues with the car at the moment. Ooh, Mick Cliff qualifies in at 4th position. So I'll see him start within the top 3 for the time stays the same with Mark's grid place penalty. Oh no, Demons just bumped them all down. This come through for 127.121. Wherever the game decides to find him. Down through turn 2. Cool Boy currently qualifying in 10th position, is 4.2 seconds away from pole, setting a 1:30. That is still a good time. We have made this series to default setups. We hadn't ran a forced default setup series for quite some time, so it's been pretty interesting to see some mix up in the names for the top running cars. There's no advantage to playing around with the setups at all. Pretzel just improved his qualifying time, just moved from 12th position, I think he was, up into 7th. Timo Simsel currently running a 1:33. And followed by Balaki with 1:38. About 4.5 seconds separating the field. Hopefully he can rein that in. We're only just about halfway through the session. Corby's bumped up into position 2 with 1:26.307. That's still half a second away from Philly's time. That's a pretty phenomenal lap. I think it's going to be immensely hard to beat. Doing with the car. I think he's going to go aim for a golden lap. Doesn't want to go off track too much in those last couple of corners, otherwise invalidate the oncoming lap. And he's bringing me into the pits. We'll jump on board for a lap with someone in a moment. This one should be pretty close to wrapping up a lap, hopefully. Jump aboard with Demon in a moment. He's getting pretty close to commencing a lap. Hopefully we don't jinx him. Given the commentator's curse, we'd been on for some pole stealing laps when we were doing it in the Group A's, but not so much with the luck in the Ferraris. And especially also with the poor guys in the NASCAR Cup on Monday. I think everyone I crossed over to in-car ended up bidding it. Very late turning, coming into turn 1, a very nice line. Compensates on that risk of that tail sliding out. And again, a very late turning for turn 2 at the hairpin. You can go out onto that exit curb, so there's a little bit of oversteer as he went through then. Oh, he's going to park it up. No, he's letting someone through. It's alright, hopefully we can still get around for a lap with him. He's going to let some more traffic through. Up the hill and through to sector 2. This is going to be a slow lap for Demon after having pulled over. There's 4.5 minutes remaining. We're going to see a lot of time gained through sector 2. So if you can get a very good run in at the end of sector 1, it's going to have an advantage to get through the next section, as this is where a lot of drivers tend to make up their speed. See, it's rather cool. You can take a lot of curb on that corner, so that way you can take a lot more speed. And the same with second last corner, you can go right down into that curb. just not to turn in too early for that last corner, otherwise they'll see you out on that grass. That was a more casual lap around Brands Hatch with Demon. He's probably going to be on for a flyer now that we're not with him. Look at Wirra coming in and stealing pole with a 1:24.665. That is very quick. He's a full second quicker than Philly. We thought that was going to be a very hard time to beat. 1:25.7. So we're coming through with a flat out time in the practice session, which we thought may have been a little bit different to what we see. We usually see him put off some slower times in the practice and then come through with a real wowzer in qualifying. And then he still was. We just thought that was a quick time that he was getting before. I don't think we're going to see a 1:24.6 be beaten. That is a pretty golden lap. Really giving a flash of the lights. There's Nomal. Thanks for joining us, mate. A fair few of a gap in the qualifying session. DJ having a lot of bad luck. Currently 28 seconds off the pace. However, we are seeing at least a good 4 seconds quicker than out of the average times in the qualifying. Oh, he's still having some issues. That's going to invalidate this lap, plus take some damage. He's going to probably want to hope that that's not critical damage. I know the car's definitely not steering straight. That's unfortunate for him. That's probably going to be his qualifying session done, as there's only 1:35 remaining. The head farmer currently in with a 1:40. Skimo Sims in with a 1:31. Cool Boy in with a 1:29.706. He's only just a slight amount of time away from Balaki. Balaki's just ran short on turn 1, I think, avoiding Pretzel. So that's just ended his session. Dirty Monkey and Mick Cliff both in the pits. Mark, wearing the grid place penalty, has been bumped right down into 8th position for qualifying, and that's with a 1:27.564. So it's still a very quick time. There's DG's car parked up on the side of the track. Rooney just crosses the line in time. This is going to give him one more lap to be able to set before qualifying is complete for the first race of round 3. Gallen qualifying in with a 1:27. Oh, Mark's just moved that time back up. And he's also in it for another lap. So he's now qualified into 4th position. It's a much better position to be starting from with the good place penalty now. Marky Mark is coming 5th in the championship. He's got 303 points. Just ahead by 8 points is DK Rush, who's unable to make tonight's round. His then nearest competitor is Wirra with 312 points. And then also Sami up with 366 points, who's definitely going to be losing out, not being able to make it to tonight's round. Hopefully he can make it in for the second session if there is a chance for him. Now we have qualifying complete, 55 seconds remaining. DG's still parked that car up. Ranger hasn't brought that into the pits. actually already crossed the sector, so we're not going to be able to see whether Cool Boy is currently up on his best lap. We saw him setting 130s in the practice. He's definitely shaved off some time in the qualifying. Will this help him? Will he improve that 129.706? He does, but it doesn't gain him a position. He just shaved 0.2 off. I think that may be AI for Head Farmer. Pretty sure he would have crossed the line before then. There we have qualifying complete. We'll probably hang for a moment while we've got cars out. No, it is going to cross us over. We have results for qualifying for race 1 of round 3. We have Wera Dejuri 81 taking pole position with a blisteringly quick 124.665. That is superbly quick. And then still with Philly setting a 125.756 is still very quick. So starting in position 2. Then we have Corby in 3rd. Marky Mark's got the grid place penalty, so that's going to see him move down into 5th position, and Demon Effects move up into 4th. Then we have Gallon, Pretzelnator, Rooney, Mickcliffe, Dirty Monkey, Bobalaki, Cool Boy, Simo Simsel, Head Farmer, and DG. So we're over into the sprint race now. And we've got 12 laps around Brands Hatch for the sprint race. Driver's got a couple of minutes to hit that ready button, otherwise they can see themselves disqualified. We don't want to see that occur. Get a slightly better view. The Vazmac guys must be enjoying your cheering there, DK, taking the lead for the first race. And it is a very good starting position from pole. You are automatically on the racing line. We have seen in the previous rounds where pole actually started offline. That meant they had to get away super quick. There we go, already about to see the lights go green. There we go. Oh, I think that may be a jump start by Pretzel. He's definitely got away much quicker than everyone and had to hit those anchors. If we see him peel off into the pits, that's what's going on. Oh no, Wira's just been squeezed out on turn 1. Not sure what the contact was going on. No, sorry, that was Philly, not Wira. So Wira's pulling out ahead of Corby. However, Corby's hanging on very tight. Already looking for an opening as he comes up into turn 4. We're a lot quicker coming on up through the hill. So I was mentioning in the qualifying, if you're quick through the end of Sector 1 and can nail Sector 2, you're going to have a huge advantage over the other drivers. Whereas going to be able to pull away very quickly. See just how much damage has been taken. And where it went off, I think he's pretty fine. Oh, there's a bit of chaos going on there. Pretzel's just gone for a spin. I don't think there's been any contact. Corby's just spun and turned around as well. And can't even get a hold of Corby. He's managed. Oh, he's just pulled out in front of traffic. Gets across marginally in front of Mickcliffe. He's going to re-enter just in front of Simo. And up alongside of Demon Effects. Drivers finding it rather slippery out there, even with warm tyres. It's still overcast conditions, so it's going to be still rather cool. Game session time was 11 AM. And it is spring in the UK, so it's still cold. We now have Gallon up in 2nd position. We're on lap 2, leading by 4 seconds. So he's pulled away very quickly. He only had Corby that was really there to put pressure on. and with that spin has seen Corby drop down into 9th position. Team effects starting to drop off. Well, Philly's just spun out through turn 3. I think there's 2 cars off. We've also got DJ getting repairs. Pretzel's been in. He's got some damage, but I think he may have been serving a drive-through. We have Coolboy up in 3rd position. He did qualify towards the back end of the pack. Then come lap 2, he's now up into 3rd position. This could be a fantastic result for Coolboy. We did see him start putting in 1:29 lap times. If he can do that consistently for the race, it's definitely going to have a good shot at a podium. And Rooney coming up in 4th position. Dirty Monkey trying to close that gap in on Rooney. Otherwise, there's a fair bit of spacing between Dirty and Balaki. And Simo Simzul has just gone for a spin on the last corner. I've seen him drop down into 13th position. Mickliffe and Mark both going past. Well, Mark's gone into a slide through turn 1. Is he going to be able to save it? He does, brings it in just in time. He's going to be on the inside line coming through turn 2. Manages to save a position. That was very lucky. It could have gone badly for both himself and Mick, where the car did come back on track. There's been, yes, that's right, DK, an action-packed first couple of laps. It's been pretty thrilling just for those ones. So they're going to put on a pretty good show for the remaining laps. So we're on lap 3 of 12. Dirty Monkey is starting to close that gap on Rooney. Rooney's going to start putting some pressure on Coolboy. It'd be great to see if Coolboy can manage to stay out up the front. If he can take a podium, it'll be a first with Apex eSports League. And for those of you maybe joining later in the series, Coolboy is actually Black Eye Warrior, who's been in and out of a few rounds over the last few series. And he is pretty dedicated to trying to get up towards that top end with the rest of the faster drivers. And he was getting in some practice last night and said he was getting some pretty quick times. So hopefully he can keep that up. His last lap was a 29.866. Rooney's set a 1:29.819. If they keep around that consistent pace, it would be a very good shot at a podium for him. But we're absolutely dominating it out at front. It's lap 4. He's now leading by 6 seconds. Still some very quick times, a 1:27.203 from Wirra and a 1:27.445 from Gallen. We're still seeing pretty much qualifying times being set in the first opening laps of the race, which is rather interesting, especially for Wirra, because he's got no advantage out there. He's copying a full amount of wind. There's no slipstream. Look at that. You can see he's almost that fullback corner ahead of Gallen and still pushing that lead out. That was a 1:26.306. Where it is on absolute fire tonight. Whereas always a very quick driver, but to be nailing times like that is just purely phenomenal tonight. Oh, we've just had a car drive to retire out. I think it was DG. DG's retired. Can't see him on the board. And there is a time second penalty that's going to be applied to Marky Mark. Corby starting to make his way back up through. He's moved up into position 5. He did drop down to about 8th when he went for the spin. To lose 6 positions to only be 3 behind now. over a course of 3 laps. He's doing very well, and you can see why that last lap was a 1:26.505. So it's a very similar pace to that of Wira at the moment. But it's unlikely at that pace he'll end up catching Wira. But he can definitely make his way through the rest of them. There he goes, passing Rooney. It was a very quick pass. Effects currently in 10th position and starting to close in on Philly. I think Philly may be dealing with a bit of damage on the car. That front end looks a little bit squashed. Corby's next aiming for Cool Boy. Corby did just run wide through turn 1. It's lost him a little bit of speed. Cool Boy still keeping some pretty consistent times, 1:29s. As long as he doesn't cave to Corby's pressure. And see Corby already gauging, looking for opportunities to pass. Bit of an oversteer issue with Cool Boy. Corby playing it safe as he tries to gauge just where his lines are. He's clearly got more pace, so he doesn't need to make a risky manoeuvre. He just needs to really strategically place where he's going to pass him. The longer he sits there in behind, that's going to allow Rooney to close that gap back in on him. And Cool Boy doing very well to keep Corby at bay for that lap. They almost go for a switchback manoeuvre on turn 1. Oh, he's going to put himself up along the inside. He owns that track position now. But he's not going to be in the right line for the next corner. Cool Boy's doing very well to hold Corby off. This is going to be a great little battle between the two. We saw Corby try to go for a few lines through sector 2. However, Cool Boy was just still being able to slightly hold ahead and had a slightly offline approach. I don't think it was defensive positioning, but rather just the driving style through that sector. We have to be careful that there's no contact made, otherwise it could potentially ruin the race for both of them. And Corby doesn't want to be involved in any at-fault incident that would cost him for some penalty points. That's a pretty good battle for position 3. This is where we saw Corby last lap really pull some speed. He did nose in on turn 2. However, Cool Boy still holding him off. 1:29.875 that lap for Cool Boy. Corby at 1:29.615, so only just marginally quicker, which is why it's making it very difficult for Corby to get around. We have Gallon currently in 2nd position, and we're still leading out front. He's coming up to some lap traffic. That's Simo Simsel that's coming up to at the moment. She's already gotten around Demon Effects. He's currently leading by 6.6 seconds. Corby runs off on a very wide line to carry that speed through. Oh, he's going to get up along inside for these last couple of corners. A little bit of a rub. Slightly put Cool Boy off. Hopefully it doesn't put him into a spin. It did. Oh, and he's just come back out, nearly making contact with Rooney. Recovers down into 5th position, unfortunately. Except he's now side by side with Rooney, so he's recovered very quickly. Rooney probably unlikely to fight for position too much since he is joining in late in the series, so he's probably unlikely that he might be able to make the other rounds potentially. He's just wanting to jump in because he saw we were a couple of guys short. So he's not going to get in the road too much of the other drivers, most likely to allow them to get their championship points. So he'll just be out there for some good fun racing. Midcliffe starting to catch up to Head Farmer. Rooney closing down on Cool Boy. Cool Boy gets a little bit quicker out of that last corner. His last lap of 1:34. Corby's setting 1:27s. It's lap 10 of 12. That's a brilliant recovery for Corby. He's got 6 seconds to catch up before he catches on to Gallen. And his last lap was about 4 seconds quicker than Gallen. That could potentially see him catch up to Gallen by the end of the last lap if he does keep this same pace and if Gallen maintains around the same. And Philly down in 14th position after starting up towards the front. Simo just passed by Gallen. Rooney still sitting on the tail of Cool Boy. Corby should be pretty close to finishing up this lap here. He's about halfway through. He is slowly bringing that gap in on Gallen. There's no chance of catching Weir unless something incredibly goes wrong. All he needs is to keep some very safe, consistently clean laps, and then there's going to be no risk. He can easily afford to drop off a few seconds each lap. I think that's Demon Effects. It's just gotten past. It's Demon currently running 12th, Pretzel in 11th, Cliff in 10th position, Head Farmer in 9th, Larky currently coming 8th, Marky in 7th, and he's got a 1 second time penalty. I don't think that's going to affect him. He's about 7 seconds ahead of Balarki currently. However, if he does get ahead of Dirty Monkey on the final lap, he's going to have to at least put 1 second over him. Cool Boy still managing to hold off Rooney. Rooney is about 0.7 quicker at the moment. We did see Cool Boy. Oh, there's a little bit of a nudge. That was side by side. Corby laying down 127 still. Got 5 seconds to catch up to Gallen. It's not going to be enough at this stage. Gallen's picked up the pace again. He's just set a 128. So we are on the final lap for race 1 of round 3. It's been some fantastic battles and plenty of action around Brands Hatch. It's going to be quite exciting heading into the longer race tonight. And it's going to be much better track conditions as it's going to be warmer temps So we're going to get that mid-afternoon and clearer weather conditions. Rennie's still looking to try and get around Coolboy. Coolboy's just got to hold him off for one more lap. Ooh, a bit of a shunt. Rennie goes for an outside line, so it's not going to be advantageous coming into this corner. They're side by side. Rennie yields back into the racing line. Coolboy's only going to hold him off for another half lap. Now we have Weira crossing the line, taking the victory. Gallen also coming up, and it's going to be a battle between Coolboy and Rooney. Congratulations, Gallen taking second, and Corby on the podium. We still have Coolboy and Rooney battling it out. There's only the last two turns. Coolboy's just got to hold him off. Oh, what's going on with Rooney? He's just put that car out. Not sure what he's doing. Just playing around, I think, at the end. But Coolboy takes fourth position. Rooney in fifth. Mark gets ahead of Dirty Monkey. Will he lose that spot by time penalty? No, he's more than a second ahead, so he keeps position 6. Dirty takes 7th. Blakey crosses in 8th. Head Farmer coming up onto the last corner now. And then we'll put him in 9th position. Cliff brings it up in 10th position. There's 37 seconds remaining to complete last laps. The Pretzel coming up in 11th position. The front bar flapping around still. Crosses the line in 11th position. And then we have conclusion of the first race for tonight's round. We have Weira Dejuri 81 taking victory. And I think he's possibly got the fastest lap of the race for sure. A 1:26.306 is a pretty quick time. Yes, I think that is the fastest lap of the race. So it looks like a clean sweep for the first race by Weira, so well done. And then also Gallen for taking position 2. And then Corby also on the podium in position 3. And then we've got Coolboy, Rooney, Marky Mark, Dirty Monkey, Balaki, Head Farmer, Mick Cliff, Pretzelnator, Demon Effects, Simo Simsel, Philly Manili, and DG. Oh, he did actually get disqualified, so I wonder if he missed the start or if... Actually, no, it's time penalties. So it looks like he's sped in the pits. It could have even possibly been a spin down into the pit entrance. It does quite commonly happen on that last corner. So hopefully it's not the case that an incident like that did that to him early on lap 1. Yes, so he had been into the pits, so it looked like he may have spun off into the pits. That is rather unfortunate. But we'll be back in about 9 minutes. And then we'll be back into session 2, so we'll be having another 15 minutes of qualifying. And then we've got the main race, which is 25 laps, so it's going to be some exciting stuff with considering what we've seen just over the course of 12 laps. So stay tuned and we'll be back very shortly. And welcome back to round 3 of the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge. We did just see Wera take victory after qualifying pole in the first race, and he didn't actually get the fastest lap bonus points that I thought. It was actually Philly Manili who actually took a 1:25, so a very quick time indeed. And he did end up bidding it through turn 1. He was joking in the lobby saying that there must have been some oil on the track, so doesn't look like there was contact, but just misjudged that first corner and then got unlucky from there on. So game session time is now 1 PM. Weather conditions are now medium cloud, and the drivers were mentioning that track temperature was 8 degrees at the start of the session, which is why we saw it very slippery for the drivers out on that first opening lap in the practice session. There is a bit of sun shining now, so there's only medium cloud cover. Then the main race will progress from light cloud through to clear conditions. So it's going to be warming up quite significantly towards the back end of the race. And the drivers quickly scrambling out on track. Slippery still for Mark. Still going to take a couple of laps to get temp into the tyres. They're going to have to play caution out there still. Corby, last one to exit the pits. He may be planning on trying to put a little bit of space between him and the rest of the field, so he can have a very good run. We see another pole setting time from Wera. Landing in the 1:25s would be pretty phenomenal to see again. If you are just joining us, don't forget to hit that follow button as well. If you haven't done so, we also have our YouTube channel, that shortened link bit.ly/ApexESL. It is case sensitive, it won't work if you don't put Apex in capitals and then the E in lowercase with the SL in capital. Bitly is all case sensitive. You can head over there and hit the subscribe button as well. All our races do get saved over to there, as Twitch only keeps our broadcast for a couple of weeks, so we can go back and catch plenty of action. There's been over a year's worth of broadcast series. You can just see how some of our regular drivers have developed over the course of their time racing with us. Pretzel having some bad luck in race one, look like a jump start, seeing they have to head in on after the first lap for a drive-through penalty. And then he did take damage as well. We saw a pretty good battle between Coolboy and Corby for a few laps. And then also Coolboy and Rooney. And then Coolboy even jumping into the Twitch chat and saying that position 4 was one of his best results, so he's pretty excited. And we're opening lap time 1:25.860. He might as well just park that car up and probably put his feet up for the remainder of the session. It's going to be pretty hard to beat. Mark also getting in with a 1:26, remembering not to speed in the pits this time around. First qualifying session, he copped a 1 grid place penalty. I saw him start down around 5th position. see, wheel off. Philly in with the second quickest time, 1:26, almost flat. That's 1:60 away from Wira's time. And the two following in closely behind each other. Philly did just actually steal pole position for a brief moment, setting a 1:25.266, and then pole stolen back again by Wira, landing a 1:24.566. They are definitely enjoying the warmer track conditions out there. Able to get a lot more grip down. Seeing some much more improved lap times. We saw DG disqualified on lap 1. Ooh, looks like a car has gone off. Not sure whose car that is. Seeing Philly's car. It's looking pretty well beat up. Whereas just come into the pits. Gallen trying to get some extra temp into those tyres, as well as the brakes. He's really trying to get them tyres ready for a golden lap. He has qualified before 1:29.085. That's placed him in 8th. Sorry, he's just moved a 9th position. I was looking at the wrong spot. Cool boy qualifying for 1:28. He qualified him with 1:29 in the first session. So he's saving a second off. Billy and Wira both tagging in behind each other again. This is Philly's out lap. We could potentially see an improved lap time here from, I think we just missed the sector data before it crossed over. Hopefully jump on board with Wira in a moment. Hopefully we don't jinx him here. Nearly, it's not a good line for the first corner, so it's not going to be a great start to the lap. I'm sure it's going to be pretty quick. A lot less slip coming through turn 1 now with those warmer track conditions. Very nice line. And to run out rather wide through this hairpin. Force yourself not to turn in early. Up over that curb, push out onto that exit curb. You can take heaps of it. It's not too slippery. And turn 4 up through the hill. Turning in too early, we'll see you run slightly wide. Down through sector 2 and halfway through. This is where we saw a lot of time gained by most drivers. Can still reasonably go flat stick through those last corners. Cutting heaps of curb will allow you a lot more quicker speed. Aim here. Sustain the 4th gear. A lot of engine braking coming to that final corner. It's going to be a nice lap for Wira. What he lands is 1.1 second off his pole setting time. That's a 1:25.6 that he just set. And if that was his opening time, get a first time on the board that would have qualified him in around the 3rd position mark. So that's the in between Rooney and Pretzel's times currently. That's still a very quick lap. We saw Wirra and Philly both start from that front end, and the two are doing it again by the looks of it this time around. We had some bad luck with DJ in the qualifying session. We only saw 4.5 seconds separating 15 cars in the practice session, but DJ having some issues in the qualifying. Demon runs wide on turn 1, hopefully doesn't make wall contact. That way he can keep the car out on track with some warm tyres. No, he's going to choose to bring that in. Oh, a little bit slippery for Corby. That's a solid hit. This car showing a fair bit of front end damage. We did see Mick suffer disconnects last week. He's not having any issues. Oh, a little bit slippery for Balaki, but he saves it. Hasn't invalidated his time. Oh boy, about 0.4 away from Balaki's time. There's only 7.9 seconds separating all drivers currently. Drivers much more accustomed to the track and how the car's performing at the moment. Philly's been bumped down from position 2. Mark's come through for 125.234. That's a bit of a delay trying to find Philly. Philly runs wide and then turns across as he's avoiding traffic. I'm not sure whose car that was. I think it may have been Gallen's car. Currently qualifying with a 126.541. There's only 2 seconds separating the first 7 cars. And technically the first 9 actually. Ed Farmer's run off and validated his current lap. With the pace that Wirra's putting on, can he manage to maintain that coming into the main race? 25 laps is going to be quite tiring. It's going to come down to pit strategy as well. Pretty sure they're most likely going to be able to last out their tyres, no problems. They should probably be able to do some stop and goes. There's no requirement to actually have anything done to your car during the pit stop. They can just simply pull up and then be released. That is always usually a little bit random, so it can be slightly longer than what some others do. So it can come down all to being the pit strategy, or that pit stop, and when they choose to use it as to the key to ensuring they finish strongly in the race. Yes, that's right, DK. It is a tricky pit entry on this track. And then also the traffic coming out of the pit exit. Drivers are going to have to be cautious as we're going to have a lot more traffic starting to go in. Rooney drops a tyre off. It's going to cost him some speed. There's only 30 seconds remaining of qualifying, whereas currently in the pits that set his time. But a 1:24.566 is going to be pretty hard to beat. Whereas dominated those lap times for the entirety of this session. Only just marginally having Philly. Oh, Mark's just slipped up there, so it's not going to be a beneficial lap for him here. He doesn't need to shave off much to reclaim back position 2. With Mark having just had a little bit of a slip, costing him any chance of improving a lap time. Blakey moves well out of the way. He's catching up to GG's car. Looks like Philly is on for a cracker of a lap. Oh, cuts that corner just slightly, puts a little bit of slip on. It's not going to cost him the lap. Crosses the sector down, that's 1:29, quicker than his best lap of 1:25.266. That's going to be enough to take back position 2. Oh no, he must have just messed up then. That's cost him. Wasn't impressed and pulled that up. He was on fire to reclaim back position 2. We had a 1-2 start from Wera in the first race. It could have also been it for race 2. Half the drivers still out on track. There's 40 seconds remaining to complete their final laps and improve those times. Larky's pulled that car up in near the pit entrance. Does Rooney improve that time? No, he doesn't. Demon has crossed the line by the looks of things. Mick's not going to have enough time to finish up that last lap. I think it's just waiting because Blakey's near the finish line, so he's probably going to do a burnout. Yep. And then we have qualifying complete for round 3. We're taking another pole position, setting a 1:24.566. That's very quick out there. And Marky Mark just holding onto that position 2. So we're feeling merely on the track to basically take back that position 2 on that final lap until he wasn't really impressed in that last sector. So the rest of the grid starts with Marky Mark in second, Philly Middle in third, then Rooney, Corby, Demon Effects, Gallen, Pretzelnator, McCliff, Coolboy, Balaki, Dirty Monkey, Head Farmer, DG, and Simo Simsel. So over onto pit lane now. As the drivers gear up ready for the start of the race. Hopefully some better luck for Wera, for Philly on turn 1. That's where things went wrong for him, having run wide on the first corner. But he did start from that inside line, and then getting away at speed and being quite short is very easy to understeer through turn 1. He is starting on the racing line this race, so it's probably going to be in a little bit of a better position. And it was an action-packed first 3 laps in race 1. I'm sure we're going to be in for a show again. And still some intense battles throughout the 12 laps with the nice short track that of Brands Hatch. I'm sure there'll be some great battles throughout the 25 laps. It will be interesting just to see when the race leaders actually choose to pit. They will have enough fuel to last out. Let's just see whether those tyres can hold on. Here we are, we're synced up and about to go green for the start of race 2. And we're away, and a very good start for Wirra. Philly also pulls away quite quickly. He's up side by side, just tucks in front of Mark. So Mark's now dropped a position. Much better start to race 2 for Philly. No oil out on that corner for him now. Mark's looking to recover that position. He does push up inside of Philly. Not sure if there was a little bit of rubbing going on. But Corby looking to catch up some ground and get around these guys. He has some pretty big pace. He's closing that gap in very quickly. The first 4 starting to pull away. He's up side by side of Marky Mark now. And Mark's going to have the inside advantage. That's going to put Corby right on the outside. Manages to hold in and gets the pass. That was brilliantly done. Rooney now getting past Mark as well. I think Mark may have actually cut corner, so he may have been abiding by a slowdown. Ooh, a little bit of a slip. I think that's Pretzel. He recovered that car very quickly. That was very lucky. I think he even avoided making contact with the wall. So that was just a spin and then came back on. So he's only just lost a few positions. That is very lucky. And up to our race leaders, we have Wirra, Philly and Corby. We have Corby giving some pressure to Wirra on the first couple of laps. And it wasn't until the spin that saw him lose out. And we're seeing a few lag skips going on for him. And then he did just misjudge that corner. If there's some latency issues going on with Corby, he could very well have seen Philly's car in a different position and then really caught him off guard coming down into turn 2. I don't think Wirra's going to be in for such an easy race this time. He's got Philly up there sitting tight. He's only less than half a second. Oh, Corby's binned it at the same spot that he did in race 1. He hit some curb before. I'm not sure what happened there. That tail just started to slip out. Looked like he was going reasonably slow. Demon FX currently coming in 5th position. A little bit of tail slip for Mark. He came in rather quickly. We're starting to pull away from Philly. That lap was a 125.8 for Wirra, a 126.1 for Philly. Rennie's moved up into position 3 for Corby's slip. Cost Corby several seconds. His lap of 130. That's not too bad considering the spin he did have. Even for Pretzel of 131 with the spin that he had. Some very lucky saves. Oh, Dirty Monkey's just gone off track. Not sure if he's dealing with some damage on the car. Dirty does drive from controller as well. Track, I would imagine, will be rather painful on controller. Probably nowhere near as much as last week with Azure. Philly bringing that gap in. He was 0.7 away from Wirra. He's now caught up down to 0.2. Oh, he just had to back off. They're already catching up to some lap traffic. Simo Zimzel's now up ahead. This could be an advantage for Philly to try and get ahead of Wirra if he happens to get caught up. However, if Wirra can do a nice time pass, he's going to take a risk here going down through turn 1. He doesn't want to come through with too much speed to make that inside line. And they both get through nice and smooth. Rooney's copped himself a post-race time penalty and ran wide on turn 1. That's allowed Demon Effects to pull up. That's also allowed Mark and Corby to quickly close in on him. side by side between Corby and Mark. There was a little bit of rub, a little bit of oversteering going on from Mark as Corby just got clear of him. And Coolboy up towards the top end again. We saw him take P4 in race 1. He's doing very well again. He's up into P7. The head farmer starting to close in on Mick Cliff. And we're not so lonely out front in race 2. By this point, we saw him not be able to see anyone in his mirrors and didn't see anyone out front for quite a while. He's already been able to pass a lapped car and get to see Philly in his mirrors for those first 5 laps. Philly's going to make him work for this win. Simo moves off to the side in turn 1. Letting Rooney and Demon Effects through. Corby heading into the pits. It may have taken some damage. Mick Cliff also into the pits now as well. At this point in the race, pitting now. It's going to want to ensure those tyres can last out. Drivers didn't mention too much in the lobby whether the tyres were scrubbing out. However, the cool track conditions definitely would have prolonged the life of the tyres. That may be very much different now. And it will just depend on how the weather conditions progress for the race. It's synced to race, so it's completely random. It started in light cloud conditions and it will progress to clear, so that could happen within the first few laps, or it could happen towards that back end. Skies are looking pretty clear, so it looks like it's already cleared up. We're getting some very nice lap times out there. 1:26 being set. Philly currently a little bit quicker on pace compared to Wirra. But will Wirra be able to keep Philly at bay? We'll look at Philly really closing in. He's got some big speed coming down through sector 2. Very different line. Looked like he was almost going to run wide. Did cost him about a second, and again, not able to keep up to that same pace. Probably jinxed him jumping on board. Rennie and Demon battling it out in 3rd position. Rennie having gotten around Demon Effects and Rennie wearing a 1 second post-race time penalty. He did get that early on in the first couple of laps. Ooh, a bit loose in that tail end for Rooney. Saves the car, but gives the position back to Demon, so he moves back into 3rd position. Almost a bit nauseous trying to keep up with the camera, trying to find out where Pretzel is on the track then. Pretzel having a lot better luck in race 2. We did see him with the jump start in race 1 and then take damage and a couple of spins. He's now racing really tight behind Coolboy. This is very close. Oh, he runs off track though. Not sure what was going on then. It's on the bumper of Pretzel's car. He is getting very close. There's leaving no room for error once they're that close. And then you also have to take into account the latency difference between the drivers. Coolboy a little bit quicker on the second last corner. Did notice Coolboy being able to keep that pace ahead of Corby and Rooney through those couple of corners as well. It seems to be his forte for this track. He's doing very well. Cliff just ran off track. He's just lost out position to DG. Having some dramas at the moment. Oh, DG, nice save. He gets brought up over that curb. Rooney still trying to close down in on Demon Effects and get back position 3. A race leader, Wira, starting to pull away quickly from Philly. Philly did keep it to him for a good 5 laps and then was slowly reining that in. Coolboy caves to the pressure from Pretzel. So there was a car off the track then. It was Rooney's car. He spun. I think he's made wall contact as well. Dirty Monkey quickly catching up to him now. Let's see. Doesn't look like he may have made any wall contacts. That should be fine. They're definitely going to want to at least wait for the halfway mark. Oh no, he must have taken some damage. He's going to go in there and deal with it now. Making a mistake on this lap, losing that lead he started to put on Philly. Their last lap's very similar. Philly slightly quicker, 126.5 and a 126.3. I won't jinx Philly this time and jump on board for a action pass. Where we're really pulled away from pulled away from Philly when they were battling this close only several laps ago. And Philly managed to hold on this time around. I think we're slightly quicker. No, definitely Philly much quicker. 127.3, we're setting a 128. But it looked like we carried a lot more speed coming down to that final corner. So he's going to have to use that momentum to keep pushing through and further that lead ahead of Philly. Gallen headed into the pits now as well. Dirty Monkey's copped himself a time second penalty as well. He's wearing 1 second also. Track limits not as easy to exceed on this track. And they're not as heavily penalised for not abiding by the slowdown. In round 1 we did see a fair few time penalties being applied. Sumner Raceway quite harsh with giving out those slowdowns. And there's plenty of spots to actually run short on the track. Not so much here, there's more opportunities to actually run wide rather than being able to cut. Philly is still hanging on. have Blakey starting to close down in on Corby. Corby was getting some pretty quick laps. However, Blakey started to catch up over that lap. That was a very quick one. And Philly right on the tail of Wirra now. This is where it seems that Wirra is much quicker than Philly. He seems to really pull away through this sector. However, Philly makes up for it through sector 1. There is some lap traffic coming up. I think that may be DG that's up ahead. Yes, that is DG's car. Ooh, and he runs wide on turn 1. As long as he doesn't spin back in, doesn't slow these guys down. That could be to an advantage for Philly as he's saying, oh no, definitely not. He's messed up. He's taken some pretty big hits, but it's turned him around facing the right way. No. And spins it again as he tries to recover, putting in the wall. That's definitely cost him. He's lost a couple of positions. It's alright, third position would still be alright. He's probably going to have to contemplate pitting now. Get it over and done with, so we can at least get back out on track with a pretty straight car. I'm pretty sure that front end is going to be significantly affecting him on those faster straights. Pretzel's probably going to just really close down in on Philly. That front end's really going to be affected. He did make rear contact as well. Ooh, Pretzel slips out. That's cost him. I'd be surprised if Philly does not bring that car into the pits this lap. And we are approaching the halfway point, so it wouldn't be too bad of a time to actually head into the pits anyway. But it's allowed a lot of breathing room for Wirra to try and really push out that spacing. Demon Effects up into P2. Philly brings that into the pits now. So he's not out of this race yet. He did recover very nicely considering. And having now gotten the mandatory pit requirement out of the way. We have seen Corby pit very early on. He's currently trailing by 27.8 seconds behind Wirra. He's back out on track now. Ooh, a little bit of a lag skip going on. Claudio's just about to bin it through turn 2. That was actually just some latency showing. Hopefully doesn't suffer a disconnect at all. DG into the pits now as well. Yeah, Steph, it'll be good to see you back out on track again. Demon Effects showing some pretty similar pace to Wirra at this point. Last time around, Wirra setting a 127.364, Demon a 127.552. He can keep this up. He could hang on and it could come down to the pit stop. Cool Boy now heading in for his pit. Ooh, he looked like he overshot. I'm not sure if that was some lag or if he had to quickly reverse back. Not sure if that was a quick one. It was just a stop and go. Opting to not swap out tyres. 11 laps remain. Cool Boy comes back out just ahead of Mark. I don't think Mark's been into the pits yet. Spacing starting to go on as the drivers are starting to head in and serve their pit requirements. Balaki currently coming in 12th position. Make our way through the grid. DJ currently in 15th. He's got Pretzel and looking to get around him. Dirty Monkey getting a little bit slippery up ahead. Timo Simsel in 14th position. Head Farmer running in 13th. Blakey in 12th position. Oh, it looks like he's just gained a position from Rooney. Rooney having spun off. Doesn't look like he's made any contact. But he's escaped that reasonably okay. Blakey now in 11th. Mick in 10th position. Blakey only a couple of seconds behind him. Blakey last lap around 2 seconds quicker than Mick. Could see him looking to get around Mick over the next couple of laps. Gallon 350 in 9th position. Cool Boy still battling it out with Marky Mark. Oh, a little bit slippery, that's just cost Cool Boy. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't pull out in front of anyone. Nice flip spin on the curb. Recovers very well. He's got 5 seconds between himself and Mick Cliff. Having already been in pit and several cars up ahead, needing to still head into the pits, he can still recover a few positions. That's going to allow some room for Mark, not feeling the pressure of Cool Boy sitting right on his tail. Dirty Monkey in 6th position. He's currently wearing 2 seconds post-race time penalty. Heading into the pits to serve his mandatory requirement now. A few good scrapes up the side of that car. Philly Minelli coming in 5th position. Do need to see Wirra, Demon and Pretzel pit. Up ahead only by 6 seconds is Corby, who has already been in and pit. He did do that rather early. It's going to depend whether those tyres last out. He could have very well been in and even swapped out for a harder compound. The series is default setups, however the tyre type can be changed for use of the pit stop. Corby's currently 13 seconds behind Pretzel, who I believe has not yet pit. The same with Demon Effects. And our race leader, we're all needing to head into the pits. Demon still holding on, 9.6 seconds away from Wirra. Sure Corby will definitely be able to take a couple of positions once we see Demon and Pretzel head into the pits. We're seeing some pretty quick lap times by a lot of drivers. 127s quite consistently in that last lap around. That was done by Wirra, Pretzel, Corby, Philly, Mark, Mick Cliff, Balaki, all in the 127s. That's likely. The weather conditions have now gone to clear by the looks of it. Rooney heading into the pits. See his crew run out on the track, getting ready for him. chance we're actually not seeing a glitched pit crew. It's quite interesting. We're still out on track. There's 7 laps remaining. Just getting out of the pits now. Ooh, scrapes the wall on the way out. Exits out just behind Philly. Now lap 18 of 25, whereas now catching up to some more traffic. I think it's Balaki now catching up to position 11. And he's got a bit of a gap to go before catching up to other cars. And he's definitely pulling away from Demon. He's now got 11.2 seconds. That gap did get down to about the 7-second mark at its closest. He's really started to squeeze that out again. Cliff starting to catch up to Cool Boy. He's about a second quicker at the moment. That's definitely going to cost Cool Boy a fair bit of time. And it runs wide again. That's going to have Mick Cliff looking to get around very quickly. That was 3 corners run off. I'm not sure whether it's Wera or Demon that's causing the gap to increase so much. Their last lap around, they'll fairly evenly matched. They're only 0.1 difference between them in lap times. However, this lap, they've really started to spread that gap. Cliff and Coolboy will most likely be battling it out come the end of this lap. It's 1.2 seconds quicker currently. Must be Demon that's actually slowing up in pace at the moment. He's 2 seconds slower than Wera. They were peg for peg in lap times the last few. And Pretzel's really closed in and also setting a 1:27.040. I think I just saw a 1:25 as a last lap set. I think that was Philly. The fastest lap of the race so far. Let's have a look. I think it's a 1:25.872 currently. And that is Wera. Philly Manili took the 10 bonus points for fastest lap in race 1. Wera still stays out on track. There's only 5 to go. He's going to need to head into the pits the same as Demon. Demon seems to be really losing some pace. He's probably going to want to try and get in and pit. That could put some pressure from having Pretzel on his tail. However, Pretzel does run short on that corner. McCliff looking to get around Coolboy. Battling it out for 8th position. Coolboy does have a time second penalty. Oh, McCliff misjudges that. Let's have a look. Coolboy's wearing 1 second. Dirty Monkey's wearing 2 seconds, and Rooney takes a 1 second time penalty. Oh, and then Balaki's just bent it. That's a solid hit. Demon effects. Laps past Balaki. Lucky that didn't happen just only a few moments later. Otherwise, it could have potentially been right in front of him. McCliff's closed that gap in again on Coolboy. Just commenced lap 22. DK, that definitely won't buff out. It's probably unlikely that he's going to need to pit in, I don't think. Lucky does stay out. It was a pretty direct hit to the front, so it's only just damaged that front aero. So it's probably going to affect his speed, given his position, and only 4 laps remaining. It wouldn't be worth coming in and actually tending to that. It would just be worth wearing a couple of seconds slower per lap. It's only if the car wasn't steering straight that it would needed to be brought in. Well, there's a turnaround up there. It's DG. McCliff and Coolboy just get around. McCliff having passed several corners before. Oh, that was looked like a lag shunt then. Actually, some track position change between the two. There was quite a gap, and then they closed in rather quickly, but it wasn't in any braking zone. Yeah, DK Balaki has dramatically improved. He was laying down some fantastic laps in the RSO1s, and to even come over in the default setups and still be up towards the top. And I think he took a first podium as well. It won't be long, and I think we'll be seeing Balaki taking championship wins. Oh, big lock up for Coolboy. He got right on the tail of Mickey. He is carrying a heap of speed in that corner. A lot of fuel loads. Probably finding that tail end quite slippery. Billy currently in 5th position. And he's quickly closing in on Corby. He's about 0.8 quicker than Corby last lap. That's lap 23 of 25. He can recover a position. We do need to see where Demon and Pretzel are heading to the pits. Pretzel's also wearing a time second penalty. Corby's only 4 seconds away from Pretzel. Same as Philly, they can recover some positions quite easily. And even with the time second penalty that we're seeing of Pretzel with 1 second, you could easily lose a position. These guys are really closing this gap in towards the back end of the race. Rooney currently being a lapped car in position 11. Well, it looks like he's just misjudged that final corner and he's taken the wall. That's just rolled him out into the kitty litter on the final corner. Here comes Demon into the pits. Pretzel also pitting in. We're opts to stay out. Could that possibly not be the best strategy, as his lap times are dramatically dropping off at the moment? He's a good few seconds slower than the next two drivers, but at least he does have a fairly strong gap. He's got 25 seconds ahead of Corby. Both Corby and Philly have pit. Demon rejoins the race in position 4. Pretzel in position 5. Demon 11 seconds behind Philly. considering the spill that Philly had early on. And having to head into the pits. He's had a fantastic recovery. He can still grab a spot on the podium. Whereas in a little bit of a delayed getaway there. Like they released him, but he wasn't quite ready. Here comes Corby. We're just coming out of pit lane. We'll bring up the map. It's going to be very close. Just gets out ahead of Corby. This could still be taken away from where he's only now 1.7 seconds away on the final lap. And he's a little bit slippery. Oh, wall contact. That was DG that went broad in turn 2. And I think Wirra actually may have even came out on fresh rubber. I'm not sure. It looked like to be a little bit slippery for him. I'm not sure if he was just put off a little bit from taking that line a little bit slower with a lap car being up ahead of him. Philly 10 seconds in behind Corby. Has a fairly good safety net between position 2 and position 3. Corby could definitely take this win still. He's not out of it yet. Misjudges that line just slightly. It cost him a bit of time. That's allowed Wirra to put on another half a second. But unless he bins it on the final corner here, it'll be a double win for Wirra. And it'll be a double pole as well. A fantastic drive from Wirra for round 3. Well done, Wirra. Fantastic. And Corby taking position 2. Well done. And for Philly taking podium after the unlucky result in race 1 tonight, takes third position, and we'll be inviting Wirra, Corby and Philly in for a chat at the results screen as well. Demon takes 4th. Pretzinator's got 5th. He's got a 1 second penalty, but he's 6 seconds ahead of Mark. Mark and Gallen racing it out on pit straight. Just gets there. There's no time second penalty to steal that away. So 5th and 6th, not much difference between those two guys in finishing time. Cliff crosses in 8th. Coolboy and Dirty Monkey racing it out elbow to elbow. Oh, there's contact right at the end. Not sure who may have been at fault there. I think they were equally at the claim at the apex. And I think hitting that curb bounced the two out back into each other. That was pretty hefty damage for Dirty. That'll be an interesting one to review. The 9th and 10th for those guys. Rooney takes 11th. And then we have the conclusion for round 3 of the Pagnian Imports Ferrari 488 Challenge. Wirra Dejuri 81 taking a second victory tonight. And I think he did manage to still keep the fastest lap. A 1:25.872. I'll scroll down and have a better look. So I did actually get that incorrect in the first race tonight. It does appear to be Wirra, so a clean sweep in race 2, taking pole, victory and fastest lap bonus points. And also on the podium is Corby in P2 and Philly Manili in P3, and then followed by Demon Effects, Pretzel, Mark, Gallen, Mick Cliff, Coolboy, Dirty Monkey, Rooney, Head Farmer, Balaki, Simo Simsel and DG. So we'll be inviting our podium finishers into the chat now, so it'll be a moment as I invite them in. It usually takes a few seconds to do it. Shot through for Wirra, Corby and Philly to jump in and let us know how they went in tonight's round. Corby joining in. Billy's joined. Hopefully we should see Wiro join in a moment. But congratulations, Corby and Philly, on podium finishes.
Thanks, mate.
It's a good recovery after that scary spin, Philly, and having to pit rather early on.
Yeah, I pitted and then I thought, I'll just drive the crap out of this thing and I got it back up there, so...
Yeah, and there's even the same situation with Corby too. You going for that spin around that same section that you sort of spun out through sector 2 in race 1, and then having to pit early on. So it was a brilliant recovery in the end.
Yeah, that plagued me all night, that back ripple strip. So coming off the back straight, fast right-hander, it's touch and go when to, give it full noise, and bit me a couple of times tonight.
Yeah, that track was slippery as hell.
Yeah. So I think I had a lap 4 pit.
Good race, man.
Yeah, good job, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys, mate. Hey, JT, how you going?
Congratulations, Vera. Good, mate. Yeah, congrats
cheers,
on the
buddy.
double win, double pole, and I think you did a clean sweep for race 2, so I think you got the fastest lap, 1:25.872, I think.
Yeah, thanks,
Coming over the
JT.
big one
Awesome.
this week.
Yeah, great drive, boys. Awesome job, Corby. Awesome job, Philly, mate. I don't know what happened, mate. You're right up me behind me
Yeah,
for a while there,
the car
Phil.
goes a little wobbly when you sit in the slipstream and get too comfortable, I suppose.
And I sort of knew Corby had pitted early, mate, so I was sort of just trying to do the maths on the go, mate, and keep that lead out. And
I thought Corby was going on the last lap.
Mate, I think I left a little bit too close, but no, it was good at the end, mate.
Pulling out of pit lane on the final lap, only 1.5 seconds ahead of Corby. That was pretty intense.
So I thought he was going to be right up there.
I was like, go for clear track because I sort of just slipped down a bit. So same sort of thing that Philly was talking about. You get that bit of aero wash, and then I knew that if I could get through traffic well, hopefully Wira was thinking about it. So.
I was just looking forward. I was like, that's Corby. I'll catch up to him, and then he'll go on pit. I didn't know he pitted. Otherwise, I would have given him a double.
No, awesome job, boys.
I've got second here. I'll drive it back. Nah.
Made it interesting. The early stops.
Yeah, it was a great race. So well done, guys, and it'll be great seeing you at Willow Springs next week.
Can't wait, JT.
All right,
thanks, JT. Awesome, Corby.
Thanks,
awesome,
mate.
Wira.
Thanks, guys. Awesome job,
Thanks
Corby. Awesome job,
JT.
Philly. Thanks for hosting, JT, mate.
JT.
No worries.
Take it easy, mate. See you next week.
See ya. Now we have Wira, our race winner, and Corby and Philly on the podium. And next week we do head off to round 4. And for round 4, we're heading to the US of A for Willow Springs International. There's going to be some very fast racing. We have done the Ferrari 488s around there in previous series, and it's a great racetrack for these cars, except we didn't do default, I don't believe, so it's going to be a little bit interesting and a much more even ground with these default setups. So do stay tuned, don't forget to hit that follow button, and then check out our social media links so you can keep up to date with the results and standings as they're posted. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you trackside next week.